So please know that today's discussion is not going to be based on any speculation over the result of the lawsuit, but with the understanding that Cranker, Nick, and I are fully aware that the White Hats are and have always been in control and waiting to make the announcement again that Ripple's already won their lawsuit, and also waiting to actually make the announcement, the formal announcement, that XRP and XLM will revalue after they revalue the physical gold and silver first. So yes, this decision is entirely up to the White Hats, not the courts, and certainly not random internet personalities making unsubstantiated claims. Thanks so much and hope you enjoy the show. Hey guys, today is March 20th, Monday. It's a big day in terms of all the intel, but today we have a really special call because Jim Cranker, Nick, and myself, we've been talking a lot about XRP in the background. So even though, QSI is known for our stellar intel, we've been paying very, very close attention to the XRP intel as well, because ultimately everything is still interrelated. So basically we want to go over this because there's been a lot of confusion about what's the difference between XRP, XLM, Ripple, Stellar, and a couple other topics. And I do want to acknowledge that, yes, Jen McCaleb did create both tokens. And so that does, add to some of the confusion, but hopefully through the conversation today, people will start to understand a little bit more about the true utility of XRP, which I will also go into more detail in another call. So wait for another call in the future coming down the pipeline. But also, how do we actually, look at the valuation of the tokens? Because that's also caused even more confusion on top of all of that as well. So this call is really to bring more clarity on how you can calculate the valuation of not just XRP, but any asset using Nick's formula. And also, what exactly is the deal? What is the utility behind XRP? Because, and I'm also guilty of this too, but last year I used to talk a lot about how XRP was going to be the global institutional payments coin and how XLM was a global retail payments coin. And that actually has been debunked for a long time. I started debunking this own narrative last February. It's already March of 2023. So 1 year later, there's still so many people out there saying the wrong information. So just for clarity's sake, XRP is for ODL, that stands for on-demand liquidity. And, not the best example, but a good current example of it would be, as an example, the Aqua token for the Stellar ecosystem, right? There's going to be a lot more than just what Aqua does. Aqua will eventually go away in the next couple of years and be replaced by true Stellar liquidity, but that kind of gives you a scope of, how big and what the true utility is. Now, before I turn this over to Nick, I want to do a quick screen share. And I have to apologize to the people who are over in Telegram listening in because they won't be able to see this. But when you look at the recording of it, you will be able to see this. And as an FYI, this information is not new. We've covered this in multiple calls before. It's also in our QFS proofs channel as well. But just a quick highlight of, what exactly does Stellar bring to the table? Again, Stellar is not just the retail payments token, it's also the QFS governance tokens. It's the CBDC tokens, the ones that actually destroy the central banks. It's also all the stable coins in the entire world. That is actually global institutional payments. So it's also bonds and commodities, smart contracting, payment rails, stock markets, including the assets of the projects coming in. It's quantum voting, it's wrapped assets from blockchains, it's wrapped blockchains themselves. I mentioned liquidity earlier. We're also bringing NFTs, loyalty rewards tokens, and in the future, there will also be self-banking tokens. So Stellar really is kind of the everything token in terms of global payments, both retail and institutional, but also personal at the same time. So that being said, before we could jump into some of the more juicy discussions on it, I want to quickly introduce, I think for QSI, we really need no introduction for Jim and for Nick, but for more the sake of people on Rumble or YouTube watching the call, Jim has been with QSI for a long time. He's, one of our staples in our panel discussions because he brings such a wealth of knowledge to the table. His background is in entrepreneurship, and he has this great ability to see things from a very high level and to put things into perspective when you cross multiple industries and multiple topics.